In a world where swiping right could mean meeting your soulmate or matching with a predator, the line between connection and catastrophe has never been thinner. In this episode, we're diving into the dark underworld of internet predators who use digital platforms not to build relationships, but to destroy lives. What you're about to hear isn't just disturbing, it's happening right now, perhaps to someone in your community. But before we dive in, some of the details in these stories are extremely disturbing and may not be suitable for all audiences, so viewer discretion is strongly advised. As always, remember to hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on post notifications to stay up to date with the channel. Alright, let's dive into the video. In 2007, the internet was still a new frontier for many. MySpace was king, a digital playground where teens crafted their identities with glittery banners and emo song lyrics. For 15-year-old Carly Ryan, a vibrant Australian girl from Adelaide, MySpace was her escape. She was a dreamer, full of life, with a love for music and a heart open to connection. Her profile was a collage of her personality, bright photos, song quotes, and a hope for something exciting in her small world. Then came Brandon Kane. His profile was everything a teenage girl might notice. 20 years old, a budding musician with a charming smile and a knack for saying the right things. To Carly, Brandon was a spark in the monotony of her days. They messaged for months, their chats growing longer, deeper, more intimate. He told her she was special, that he understood her like no one else. He sent her songs, virtual gifts, promises of a future meetup. Carly, like so many teens, felt seen. But Brandon Kane didn't exist. Behind the profile was Gary Newman, a 50-year-old man with a sinister obsession. Gary wasn't just catfishing Carly, he was a master manipulator, running over 200 fake personas across the internet. Each one was a carefully crafted mask, designed to lure young girls into his orbit. He studied their interests, mirrored their desires, and built trust with surgical precision. For Carly, he was Brandon, the perfect boyfriend. But in reality, he was a predator, biding his time. On February 19, 2007, Carly agreed to meet Brandon at a quiet beach in Port Elliot, South Australia. It was supposed to be a romantic moment, a chance to bring their online connection into the real world. She told her mom she was meeting a friend, her excitement masking any doubts. The beach was secluded, the kind of place where the waves drown out everything else. Carly arrived, her heart racing with anticipation. She never saw it coming. Gary was there, but not as Brandon. He approached her, his face nothing like the photos she'd memorized. Before she could process the betrayal, he attacked. His fists came down hard, pummeling her face and body. Blood spilled onto the sand as Carly fought to breathe, to understand. Then, he dragged her to the water's edge, the cold waves lapping at her feet. He forced her head under, holding her down as she thrashed, her lungs burning, her life slipping away in the dark. The next morning, February 20th, 2007, a passerby found Carly's body washed ashore, her face bruised, her body broken. The vibrant girl who dreamed of music and love was gone. Police launched an investigation, tracing the digital breadcrumbs back to Newman's home. What they found was chilling. Computers filled with fake profiles, chat logs, and evidence of his relentless pursuit of Carly. He'd planned every detail, from the fake persona to the isolated meeting spot. In 2008, Gary Newman was convicted of murder and sentenced to life in prison, with a minimum of 29 years. Carly's mother, Sonia Ryan, turned her grief into action, pushing for Carly's law, which made it a crime in Australia to use online communication to plan harm against minors under 16. But no law could bring Carly back. Her story is a haunting reminder of how the internet can turn trust into a weapon, and how the person on the other side of the screen might be someone, or something, else entirely. The internet moves fast. A single message can change everything in hours, sometimes minutes. For 17-year-old Jordan DeMay, a high school junior from Marquette, Michigan, that speed became his undoing. It was March 2022, and Jordan was like any other teen, plugged into Instagram, where likes and DMs were part of daily life. He was a star athlete, a football player with a tight-knit group of friends and a future full of promise. But one message, one fleeting moment would unravel it all. It started with a follow from a profile that looked like any other. The user claimed to be a young woman, her photos polished, her messages flirty. She slid into Jordan's DMs, striking up a conversation that felt natural, even exciting. She complimented him, made him feel special, and soon, the chats turned intimate. She asked for photos, private ones. Jordan, caught up in the moment, sent them, believing he was sharing something personal with someone real. But the profile wasn't real. It was a facade, operated by two brothers half a world away, Samuel and Samson Ogoshi, Nigerian scammers running a sextortion ring. They'd perfected their craft, targeting teenage boys across the US, luring them with fake accounts and then flipping the script. Once they had Jordan's photos, the mask came off. They demanded $1,000, threatening to send the images to his family, his friends, his teammates, his entire school. The messages were relentless, a barrage of taunts and threats piling up on his phone. Jordan was trapped. The shame was suffocating, imagining his private moments exposed to everyone he knew. He scrambled to pay what he could, scraping together a smaller amount, hoping it would be enough. But the Ogoshi brothers didn't stop. They kept pushing, their messages growing crueler, more insistent. Pay up, or everyone sees. Jordan's world was closing in, each notification a hammer blow to his psyche. On March 25, 2022, just hours after the threats began, Jordan couldn't take it anymore. The pressure, the fear, the humiliation. It was too much. In his bedroom, alone, he took his own life. His family found him, their lives shattered in an instant. A boy with everything to live for was gone, snuffed out by a scam that took less than a day to destroy him. The police investigation led to the Ogoshi brothers, who were running their operation from Lagos, Nigeria. They'd targeted countless boys, extorting money and leaving a trail of devastation. In a rare move, Nigerian authorities extradited them to the US, where they faced justice. In 2024, Samuel and Samson pleaded guilty to conspiring to sexually exploit minors, each receiving 17 years in prison. But for Jordan's family, no sentence could fill the void. This case isn't just about a scam. It's about the speed of destruction. The internet compresses time, turning a moment of vulnerability into a permanent loss. Before we continue on, if you are enjoying the video so far, please remember to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. And if you don't like it, let me know down in the comments. Your support truly means everything. Alright, back to the video. In 2007, Craigslist was the internet's bulletin board, a chaotic marketplace where people found jobs, apartments, even love. For 24-year-old Catherine Olson, a recent college grad from Minneapolis, it was a lifeline. She was juggling dreams and bills, looking for ways to make ends meet. When she saw a babysitting ad on Craigslist, it seemed like a perfect fit. A local family needed help with their kid. Straightforward, good pay. Catherine, always responsible, reached out to arrange a meeting. The ad was posted by Michael John Anderson, a 19-year-old loner living in Savage, Minnesota. Anderson wasn't a parent. He wasn't even looking for a babysitter. He was a predator with a plan, using Craigslist as bait to draw someone, anyone, to his doorstep. Catherine, with her kind heart and trust in people, had no idea she was walking into a trap. On October 25, 2007, she drove to Anderson's house expecting to meet a family. The neighborhood was quiet, the kind of place where nothing bad ever happens. She knocked on the door, her resume in hand, ready to make a good impression. Anderson answered, his demeanor calm, unassuming. He invited her inside. What happened next was cold, calculated, and brutal. As Catherine stepped into the house, Anderson pulled out a handgun. Without a word, he aimed at her back and fired. The bullet tore through her spine. Blood spraying across the floor, she collapsed, gasping, her body crumpling in pain. She was dead within moments, her life snuffed out in a stranger's living room. Anderson's actions only grew more callous. He wrapped Catherine's body in a sleeping bag, the fabric soaking up the blood that pooled beneath her. He stuffed her into a trash bag, her limbs folded unnaturally, and dragged her to her own car. He opened the trunk, shoved her inside, and drove to a nearby park, abandoning the vehicle with her body still in it. The next day, October 26th, a passerby found the car and alerted police. The investigation was swift. Anderson's digital footprint led police straight to him. They found the gun, the bloody sleeping bag, and evidence of his Craigslist ad. In court, he showed no remorse, his face blank as he was convicted of first-degree murder. He was sentenced to life without parole, locked away forever. Catherine's murder sent shockwaves through the internet. Dubbed one of the first Craigslist killer cases, it exposed how a platform meant for opportunity could become a hunting ground. Catherine's family described her as a light in their lives, a woman whose trust in the world was her greatest strength, and her fatal flaw. Grace Mullane was chasing adventure. In 2018, the 21-year-old British backpacker was traveling through New Zealand, her backpack full of dreams and her heart full of wonder. She was vibrant, curious, the kind of person who saw the world as a canvas of possibilities. In Auckland, she turned to Tinder to meet new people, to share a drink and a laugh with someone local. That's when she matched with Jesse Kempson, a 27-year-old who seemed charming, confident, normal. Their messages flowed easily. Jesse was funny, engaging, the kind of guy who knew how to keep a conversation going. They agreed to meet on December 1st, 2018, the night before Grace's 22nd birthday. It was supposed to be a fun date, a few drinks in Auckland's bustling city center, maybe a walk under the city lights. They met at a bar, laughing over cocktails, the night full of promise. But the night took a dark turn. Jesse invited Grace back to his hotel room, a small, nondescript space in the heart of the city. What happened there is a nightmare. Jesse strangled her, his hands tightening around her throat for minutes, long, agonizing minutes, until her body went limp. Her neck was bruised, her face frozen in the terror of her final moments. Grace, the girl who'd been celebrating life just hours before, was gone. Jesse's actions afterward were chilling. He didn't call for help or show remorse. Instead, he went shopping. He bought a suitcase, the kind you'd use for a weekend trip, and returned to the hotel. He folded Grace's body, her limbs stiffening, and forced her into the suitcase, blood seeping through the fabric. He rented a car, drove to the Waitakere Ranges, a dense forest outside Auckland, and dug a shallow grave. He buried the suitcase, covering it with dirt and leaves as if erasing her from existence. Grace's disappearance sparked a desperate search. Her family, thousands of miles away in the UK, pleaded for answers. Police zeroed in on Jesse Kempson after finding CCTV footage of him buying the suitcase and driving to the forest. His lies unraveled quickly, and in 2019, he was convicted of murder, sentenced to life with a minimum of 17 years. Grace's story hit the world hard. It wasn't just about a Tinder date gone wrong. It was about the vulnerability of trusting someone you meet online, especially when you're far from home. Grace's family described her as a light, a soul who saw beauty in everyone. Bianca Devins was a star in her own digital world. In 2019, the 17-year-old from Utica, New York, was a rising figure on Instagram and Discord, where she shared her art, her thoughts, her life. She was creative, quirky, with a community of followers who adored her. On Discord, she met Brandon Clark, a 21-year-old who seemed to get her. They bonded over music, anime, and the kind of late-night chats that make you feel like you've known someone forever. Their connection moved offline. They started hanging out, their relationship a mix of friendship and something more. On July 14th, 2019, they went to a concert in New York City, a night of music and energy. But beneath Clark's friendly exterior was something darker: jealousy, obsession, a need to control. As they drove back from the concert, something snapped. In a secluded area, Clark stopped the car. He turned on Bianca, his rage boiling over. He pulled out a knife and attacked, slashing her throat with such force it nearly severed her head. Blood poured across the car seats, her body slumping as life drained away. Bianca, the girl who'd shared her light with the world, was gone in moments. But Clark wasn't done. In a twisted act, he took photos of Bianca's mutilated body, her throat gaping, her face unrecognizable. He posted them to Discord and Instagram, the images spreading across servers and feeds before anyone could stop them. Friends saw the photos before they knew she was dead. Her family learned of her murder through the very platforms she loved. The internet, her sanctuary, became a stage for her killer's cruelty. Police found Clark at the scene where he'd attempted to harm himself, perhaps seeking attention rather than remorse. The photos had already gone viral, a sickening testament to the internet's power to amplify horror. In 2020, Clark pleaded guilty to second-degree murder and was sentenced to 25 years to life. But the damage was done, not just to Bianca, but to everyone who saw those images, a wound that lingered online long after her death. The internet is a mirror. It reflects our hopes, our desires, our trust. But it also reflects the darkness, people who use its anonymity to hunt, to harm, to destroy. The victims in this video were all drawn in by the promise of connection, only to find betrayal waiting. Their stories aren't just warnings, they're a call to question who's on the other side of the screen. Thank you so much for watching. If you have a topic suggestion, please send it to the email in the description. And as always, remember to like and subscribe to our channel. And remember, the only thing scarier than these stories is missing out on our next video.